Hello friends, welcome to quick brief presentation of Sumir Sharma. Dear friends, the topic of the video is Unification of Italy. It has three major sections. The section first is suggestive questions. The second section is discussion on the text provided as a model answer. Here I would like to suggest that you can acquire a PDF file of the model answer by filling in the feedback form. The link for the feedback form is given in the description. Third section, information on the availability of the model answer online and offline. Okay friends, let us begin with the first part. First part is suggestive questions. I propose the following question. What obstacles stood in the way of the unification of Italy and how were they removed? I will like to call it as a generic question. We are going to provide an answer to this very question, but apart from that, the other proposed questions are: discuss the different stages in the unification of Italy. In this particular question or phrase, the more specific term is different stages. It is basically the interpretation by the Western scholars, especially the Oxford University people and the American scholars like C.J.H. Case. Similarly, the third form, which is equally popular, that is briefly describe the stages by which the unification of Italy was brought about, with the particular reference to the role of King Victor Emmanuel II and his minister Cavour. This question tried to detach itself from the Western-based interpretation, but the term stages dominates. However, in it brings in the role of King Victor Emmanuel II and his ministers. And so, if we have to develop an answer which try to justify all such type of queries. You must understand the unification was dominated by Mazzini. He was the mind and philosopher of the unification of Italy. Second was Cavour, the statesman and the architect of constitutional monarchy. Kindly give emphasis to the word term constitutional monarchy. Cavour had even risked his career in order to achieve this plan of unification of Italy. Third person who dominates that he was Garibaldi, the greatest guerrilla leader and first among the world of patriots. On the sideline, I will like to add that the contribution of Garibaldi towards the unification of Italy had even encouraged and influenced the activities of Indian patriots in their struggle for freedom. Person was Victor Emmanuel II of House of Savoy, the father of unified Italy. So we have to give an answer which justify all the three formats of questions which I have suggested. So we have these three questions for which I am going to provide you a single text that can be used for such type of question. First is what obstacles stood in the way of the unification of Italy and how were they removed. Discuss the different stages in the unification of Italy, or briefly describe the stages by which the unification of Italy was brought about with particular reference to the role of King of Victor Emmanuel II and his minister Cavour. In all these questions, we have to virtually touch the contribution of all the four people which I have already discussed here. Share with you the document which I have prepared to explain the unification of Italy and to help you to write a quick answer on this topic. I would like to insist and repeat that you can obtain this document by filling the form. The link for the feedback form is given in the description of this video. This document contains two sections. First is the title, then suggestive questions which I have already discussed with you, and third, the overall answer. You can see that I have provided three or rather two major headings. The hurdles on the path of unification, which generally becomes or makes the part of the question which is being asked in the examination, and second is the removal of obstacles and unification of Italy. The summary chart of the topic which I have developed, it is quite popular. You can check it from my blogs that it is being visited repeatedly, and people are using it not only for their map work but also for the revision. So now let us look into the content of these headings. The answer is developed using more than 2700 words, but there are some sections which are repeated and which can be left out while writing the answer in the examination. Therefore, the overall words are less than 2000 words, which makes a very useful text for developing an answer. I now pick up the first portion of this answer. The first is the Austrian Empire. The Austrian Empire was the main difficulty. Second was reactionary rulers. Well, I have just given one line. You can elaborate it if you have some understanding of it, but that can be enough. The various plans for unification. This point is to be reproduced in the answer. It is an essential part. In your other books, you will find a lengthy explanation for each of the plan. But while writing answer, one should merely tell the major plans. The plans were identified as follows. The Mazzini wanted to establish a Republic of Italy. The Republic of Italy was the plan. Then Gioberti wanted a federation under Pope. Now, this point is explained at length in some of the books. And the third plan was to have a constitutional monarchy, which had turned up as a trend in Europe during the 19th century. And no doubt, as a final result, Italy was created as a constitutional monarchy. So there was a confusion on the plan on which the Italy can be created. So therefore, these plans were tried from time to time, but the third plan became the final agenda of the activity. So the next point is lack of national awakening. You can write this point beforehand in the earlier part, or you can bring it at the place where I have shown it. Now this is a quotation. Some of the books have just used it as a quotation. Now this was the problem. Italy was not identified as a nation in the rest of Europe. See, if you read this, there are few other quotations which conveys the same meaning. So in Metternich I have used quotation by Metternich. In Italy, provinces are against provinces, towns are against towns, families against families, and men against men. The other quotation is that it is just a geographical expression. So this this aspect was one of the major problem, that is to induce the sense of nationalism among the people who were inhabiting the Italian peninsula. Then comes the papal state. Now this was a major big problem. Pope had dominated Europe before 18th century. CGH is had made it a main theme of his books that there was no kingdoms, there was only Christendom. Now that is a finest expression given to the historic reality. Now in 19th century, that Christendom was being demolished and nations were created. So in order to remove the influence of Pope, there was a need of making major efforts. So it was one of the major problems. A new background for unification. Now, this is explained in different manner, but this somehow helps to remove the problem of creating sense of nationalism among Italians, and that has been attributed to the activity of Napoleon. Now, Germany was created because the activity of Napoleon imparted the sense of unity. The same thing is given, can be repeated here in case of Italy. It has been adopted by many scholars like that. So, these were the major problems you have to identify, and after that you can move to the next section. The next section is removal of obstacles and unification of Italy. Herein I have presented a small summary which has become quite popular through my blogs over the years. You can check it on my blog, and the link to this summary is given in the description. This portion is again repeated in bigger fonts at the end of this answer, but you have not to use it here. It is meant for revision, or rather giving a blueprint before you begin to write the whole answer, so you can remember that how to summarize each section and how many points are to be explained in order to justify your answer. So, in case of removal of obstacles and unification of Italy, the first point should be the phase of Metternich era. It is not a repetition. It is the way you are explaining the happenings of 19th century as it took place in Italy. The second is two plans were tried, no doubt till the end, rather till the Garibaldi period. The other plan, that was the unification of Italy as a federation under the leadership of Pope, was dominating. It is only because of the contribution of Garibaldi that one thing was decided, that the constitutional monarchy under the Sardinia was to be the final solution. So whole of this struggle, through whole of this struggle, the conflict remained, but ultimately it was settled in favor of constitutional monarchy. So definitely the next point is hope for constitutional monarchy. So whatsoever I have explained to you here, that has been summed up in one line. You don't have to elaborate much on it, because you won't be able to complete the answer if you try to dilate much on one particular point. You have to reproduce many points. So the first stage ends with a decision among the Italian patriots that one of the workable plan is to get a constitutional monarchy. The struggle remained between Republican Italy and a federal Italy. So this first stage, which was basically dominated by Mazarini, who is considered to be the philosopher of Italy, the mind of Italy, the planner for Italy, the results which his efforts gave that Italy can be created as a constitutional monarchy. So the results are explained in few lines. Now after that we come to the second stage. The stage 1 is attributed to the achievement of Mazzini. It can also be said that stage 1 was work of Mazzini. The results which we have identified here are the results which are the outcome of the efforts of Mazzini. Mazzini is also called the philosopher of the unification of Italy. Second stage of unification of Italy. It can also be termed as the contribution of Cavour for the unification of Italy. The points which had been framed are as follows. The analysis of the problem of making Italy as a unified country as undertaken by Cavour. Second point which has been outlined is plans for peace and prosperity. Cavour, as a prime minister of the administration of Sardinia and Piedmont, tried to strengthen his country. His contribution was similar to that of Bismarck. I had already made a video on the unification of Germany. Therein, I have focused mainly on the three wars which resulted in the unification of Germany. Therein, some of the books you will find had discussed the contribution of Bismarck by strengthening Germany. However, in case of Italy unification, I have emphasized this point that Cavour tried to strengthen the rule of Sardinia and Piedmont as he considered is as essential for making Italy a unified country. Cavour devoted his energies to the development of the army of Sardinia and Piedmont. With the rise of nationalism in Europe, the citizens of their own region had to work for their development and recognition on international field. That period was dominated by monarchies and their assistants. Herein, with the rise of nationalism, there was need to find recognition for the country at international level. As per the analysis of Cavour, Austria was the major problem or hurdle in unification of Italy. The second problem was France. Similar manner, France and Austria were also the problem on the path of unification of Germany. Similar problem was faced by the patriots of Italy. So Cavour first of all focused his attention on removing the influence of Austria from Italy, and for that he tried to develop friendship on international level. Cavour tried to isolate Austria. All this discussion cannot be written in an examination, so you must make a point so that you can give glimpse to the paper checker that you understand all the twist of the intricacies of international relation. So, in order to get the recognition on international level, Cavour worked on the plan of getting friendship of England and France. No doubt France was one of the major obstacle uh, on the path of unification of Italy, but it was the statesmanship of Cavour that he first worked on the plan of removing Austria from the territories of Italy. So he developed friendship with England and France. It was the part of the plan of getting friendship on international relation that Cavour participated in Crimean War. There was no need for Italy to participate in Crimean War, but it is the risk which Cavour had taken for his country, and he participated by the side of France in Crimean War so that he can win friends on international level. Cavour was quite successful in his plans when the leading countries, France and England, invited Sardinia to Paris Conference. In Paris Conference, Sardinia was able to raise the issue of the Italian nationalism and the oppression by Austria. It was objected by Austria, but it was success of Cavour plan that Sardinia was considered a friend on international platforms by the leading countries. After his success at Paris Peace Conference, wherein he was able to corner Austria and brought the problem of Italian nationalism on international platforms, Cavour worked on the second part of his plan that was directed against Napoleon, or rather France. He signed a secret treaty with Napoleon after achieving success in Paris conference. Now Cavour tried to win over France so that the France can be used against Austria. For that, he signed a secret treaty with Napoleon III, who was ambitious and wanted to leave his mark on international platforms. For that, Cavour signed a Treaty of Plombières with France. After signing the treaty with France, Sardinia provoked Austria and declared war against Austria. In the Austro-Sardinian War, which took place in 1859, Austria was defeated at Solferino. At this stage, Napoleon, who was known for his whimsical nature, called a halt to this war, and it brought a great embarrassment to Cavour. As a result, Cavour resigned. However, Cavour was called back, and Cavour again tried to deal with France and won over the support of Napoleon for the mergence of Nice and Savoy with Sardinia. As a result, the central Italy was unified. Cavour was criticized for is dealing with France, wherein Italy suffered some ignominious situation, but the ultimate result was that the central and northern Italy was unified because of all the diplomatic activities undertaken by Cavour, and with this the second stage accomplished a first part of unification of Italy. The third stage of unification of Italy is attributed to Garibaldi. Garibaldi is considered as the father of patriotism or the leader of patriotism in the whole world. Under Garibaldi, the Naples and Sicily was merged with central Italy, and a major portion of Italy was unified. It was the patriotism of Garibaldi that after achieving success in Naples and Sicily, he handed over his achievements to Victor Samuel and left Garibaldi handed over his achievements to Emperor Victor Emmanuel II and left for his native place. The fourth stage of unification of Italy was achieved by annexation of Venetia after removing Austria from that region. It was undertaken by Victor Emmanuel. The final stage, the fifth stage of unification was settlement of the territories with Pope and making Rome as the capital of Italy. It was undertaken by Emperor Victor Emmanuel II. In this way, the unification of in Italy took place. I would like to end the narration for this question by pointing out a part which I have written as a summary chart of the topic. I again repeat, I had written this summary on my blog nearly 15 years back, and it is quite popular as large number of visitors continue to visit my blog and use it. I suggest you to go through this summary. In this, I have reframed the headings like first stage and the contribution of Mazzini, second stage and the role of Cavour, third stage and the role of Garibaldi, fourth stage, the role of Victor Emmanuel, and the final stage, the annexation of Rome. It is a very long question, but you can manage this question by understanding the major happenings and reproducing it in your answer. This summary chart can help you to write this answer in a systematic manner. I hope that you will see it and go through it. You are free to acquire this whole document wherein I have placed all the points in this particular document. You can obtain it by filling the feedback form. The link of feedback form is given in the description. The text of this question answer is also available in the published book. The book is written by me and it is readily available on Google ePlay Books and it is free of cost. You can download it from the Google eBooks site and the detail is already provided in the description. The Kindle format book is also available on Amazon, it includes the answer which is shown to you here, and the details are given in the description. You can access it from the Amazon author page description provided given in the description. The ACN number of this book is highlighted on your left hand side. Apart from that, you can use Google form link provided in the description in order to get a PDF format of this single question. I really thank you for watching. I heartily thank you for watching. Oblige me by subscribing and commenting.